My name is Scott Smallbeck, Director of CRM here for ISM. Today the topic is the new SalesLogix mobile client. It's just been released in the last week or two. It's a browser-based application that's running on your local device. And you'll see on the right-hand side of the screen, I'm running Safari here. Internet Explorer, even version 9, is not HTML5 compliant yet. And so it does require a browser that is HTML5. So Firefox, Google Chrome, Apple Safari, any of those operating systems will work, or browsers will work with the new client. And you see it's presented here. I'm going to kind of get it sized in a way that would be similar to what you would have on your phone. And I'm going to go ahead and just log on as Lee. We're just using the SalesLogix standard eval database. First time that you log on, there's a slight delay, and also because of my internet connection here, we're a little bit slower. But you'll see it comes right up here to basically an overview. It's going to be out of the box with the mobile client. It's really going to be handy for looking up information. Again, anytime you're on your smaller input device, it's going to be difficult to put in, type a lot of text and everything. But from a retrieving information standpoint and ease of use was really the metrics that SalesLogix was after with this product. So I just clicked on accounts, and I come up into a list of the various accounts in the system here, and I can go ahead and also search on one. And as you know, with SalesLogix, they always like using the Abbott and Abbott Worldwide. You can do a search on those, pulls them right up, and go into the details of the account. And you can see once you're logged in, the performance is actually pretty snappy. You've got a top details section here with some of the common information. And then you can add, again, this is very customizable, just like SalesLogix itself. You could add some of your custom fields to any of these various details or more detailed sections. Again, out of the box, the current devices that support, and again, it's really not that SalesLogix is supporting these devices as much as these devices are supporting the technologies that SalesLogix uses, which is basically the HTML5 compatible browser. Very similar story in the browser support, because you'll notice these browsers are the same ones that are used on those phones. Safari on the iPhone and iPad, Chrome in the Android environment, Firefox, and Opera, which is another open source browser. The one nice thing about deployment for this mobile device is that there's no actual installation on the phone. So it's basically you point your phone or your browser to a URL and you're off and running. It does require SalesLogix 7.5.3 with several hotfixes installed. There's also going to be security concerns in with a lot of your IT departments, and so we would go through and discuss the authentication mechanism for logging into SalesLogix client. Use the same username and password and the same licensing as your current SalesLogix environment. So within the application, just as we've been looking at, we've got access to the key customer information. When I look at an account, I can see all the, at a glance, the phone number, the address information and phone numbers. And what the key to this is as well is under quick actions, these are all going to take the appropriate action based on your device. So if again, I'm on a computer, so I don't have a phone and I don't have my email configured at this, right now. So if I was to click on call main number, it would be trying to, if you're doing that on your phone, it would then pop up and say call that phone number. And once you do that, it will leave you at a complete note or a complete phone call activity. As you see right here, I'm able now to enter the notes from the phone call. And then I can save that. You're going to see, you're going to have a save and similar to what you would expect on your phone. Go ahead and click save there. And now I've gone ahead and I've recorded that phone call to history. Just so I make the call, and right on the screen it's left at the complete phone call screen. Same thing if I was to do an email from here, it would leave me at the complete email dialog. if I click on View Address, which may work here, it'll bring up the default map application. So in this case, it brought up Google Maps to the address of that customer. On your phone, it might bring up, depends on what your mapping application is in your device. You are also able to view, like whatever, if you guys have specific fields that you would want added here for your Salesforce to use just as they're on the mobile device. The goal, again, isn't to completely replace the SalesLogix application, but to provide that quick access to what you would need when you're out in the world there, meeting with your customers. You can also access contacts, opportunities, tickets from the account, as well as if you were just here, if I click back to the home menu, you're able to go straight to any of those levels. So if I wanted to go to contacts and I wanted to look up somebody, I knew their name was Smith, search on that, and we go to Jeff Smith, and there we are on Jeff Smith's record, and away we go. You're able to perform key actions, and they use the device's interface. So if you're sending an email, you're sending it through the device's email application. If you're going to look at the address, you're using the device's map application. If you click dial a phone number, it uses the dialer of the device. So all that functionality is going to work as you would expect your phone to work. And that's what's nice is that whether you're on an iPhone or an Android phone, you have the functionality behaves very similar to what you would expect from an application on that platform. So some of the goals with this was, again, SalesLogix wanted to make this available at no additional charge for the actual platform. You would, of course, have services built from ISM if you needed to upgrade your SalesLogix to the correct version, or if you need assistance in deploying the web client or the web portal, those kinds of things. But as far as your licensing with SalesLogix, it's included in what you already have. There's no additional support and maintenance or user licenses for that. There is some basic caching. So what that means is within this session that I'm logged in here as, if I was to click on here and go to contacts, and that was to do that same search that I just did, it's already cached that for this session. So the more you do in this session, the faster some of the things. If you're going from, if you're in a list view, for example, and you go back to that same list view, it's going to come up faster because it's already on your phone. All that's cleared each session. So one thing that is a concern on the current mobile and as well as on remotes is sometimes there's a concern of salespeople having access to their data should they leave the company, for example. With this particular product, there's no data stored locally on the device. So as soon as you would retire their user or disable their user account in SalesLogix, they would have no ability to log on, and there would be no information stored locally on their phone that they would have access to. Again, you're able to actually, you can get quite a ways with data entry. Again, this is not really designed as a data entry platform, but you can create. I can come over here and if I click the pencil here, I can edit any of these fields here, and you'll see that there's a pick list and lookups and things. So here's the title pick list. I can go ahead and select CFO. Notice this is this one's not a multi-pick list, but I can use, if you guys are using multi-select pick lists in your SalesLogix, those are supported, as well as lookups. I can go and do a lookup here to the account level. I can edit the name, and of course in SalesLogix the name is stored in pieces, so I can go ahead and put in Mark's middle name if I wanted to. Save that. So you can do quite a bit of actually entering new information into the mobile client. Again, it depends on how fluid your users are in actually using their device to enter information, or if they find it easier just to do that once they're back at the office connected to the full SalesLogix application. And again, there's no synchronization with this. This is real-time connectivity to the SalesLogix database. So any changes that you make here in the mobile client are reflected immediately in the host system. Just a few slides here that may be a little boring, just related to the specifics of implementing the SalesLogix mobile client. Again, 753 is the service pack target that we would be looking at. And then there's 3 hot fixes that are out that address different new features of the SData portal. And the mobile client requires the SData portal as well as a rebuild of your web platform and the application architect. This is really just going through the actual steps just to give you an overview. It's not a hugely complicated implementation. We, of course, can help you with it as much as you need. If you already have the web client up and running and exposed to the Internet, this is probably less than a half a day's effort as far as working with ISM. If you need to upgrade or you haven't deployed the web client, then of course it's going to be a bigger effort, and we would just need to review that with you and see what the actual requirements would be for you. Let me just make a little space. My meeting is on top of my PowerPoint. There we go. So again, there's different layers of the system. You may not care to see, really where it goes past the actual client, but both the HTML5 mobile client and the SalesLogix web client use the same technology, connecting to the SData feed that then connects back to your CRM database and can be integrated with your ERP system, as well as in-house databases or other external third-party applications. And we can make those available to you in both the mobile or the web environment. So, potentially any information, if we're bringing over information from your accounting system or from some other in-house system, that could be displayed in the mobile client or in the SalesLogix web client. So, the nice part is that you still have the full customization and configuration ability of the SalesLogix application. A little bit of information between SalesLogix Mobile and the old SalesLogix Mobile. I don't think, I didn't look through the entire attendee list. We only have a few customers using the old mobile client. But part of the difference between the two was that the classic mobile client required BlackBerry or Windows CE, Windows Mobile devices, and actually stored, is very similar to a remote user database where it would store the information on the phone, and you would have an actual application that had to be installed and managed on the device. The nice part about the SalesLogix mobile client, again, is that there's no deployment. If we make some changes to the system, all of a sudden in the details section we've added several key fields for your company. As the next time that your user goes to that particular screen, that information is going to be there. There's no bundle deployment or installation or anything like that that they need to do to accommodate that. In that vein, we see here a list of the, for the licensing in the Classic, there was an additional license fee. The new SalesLogix Mobile does not have any additional license fee from SalesLogix. The goal here for compatibility of devices is that rather than supporting specific devices, any HTML5 mobile device is going to be supported going forward. It is an actual online application. It requires connectivity. They are planning to release a disconnected version of this to where then you would have a local repository of data available should you be in that situation where your phone is not able to be connected to the Internet. And we have a little more, in the new mobile client, a little more robustness to the actual entities within SalesLogix, support for leads, all the other main entities in SalesLogix, as well as we can expose your custom entities as well, should you want to do that. And then there's just one other slide, which is really the competitive differences between SalesLogix and the competition. Again, you guys are all, I think, SalesLogix users already, so I don't need to go into too much detail here. But of course, SalesLogix has shown you in this slide why it's better, of course, than what the competitors are offering. That is the goal to have SalesLogix continue to be one of the top tier applications in the CRM space. And so one nice thing is that as Salesforce and Microsoft in particular are making vast improvements to their systems, it puts pressure on SalesLogix to continue to excel and